So now it's time to show you how to create your citations in MLA and APA style using the library citation resources. You can use any number of different kinds of citation generators, but I'm just going to show you one. To get there, I'm going to show you something from, this is again your colleagues, your classmates' document from the questions generated piece, and I'm going to show you something that doesn't work. Sometimes it's helpful to see why something doesn't work in order to know how to fix it. So she's created a link here. If I follow this link, it takes me to an error page because this link was simply copied out of the browser. Probably she went in and copied out the link here. That doesn't work as a way to get you back to the resource, and I'll show you what does work. Up here, I corrected the link to create what's called a permalink, and if I click on it, it takes me directly to the source that she was citing. The way I capture that link is using this little icon here, permalink. When I click on that, I can copy out the permalink to the clipboard, and that way I can paste that and I can come back to my resources at any time. So this is really something, it's not an issue that I'm going to be grading. It's something for you to know for the future, that you always want to look for this little permalink. This is not only available here in this particular spot in the library databases, it's also available in EBSCOhost. So the words you want to look for is always permalink, and then copy out the permalink and paste that into your document. The next step here is creating the MLA and APA citations. Super easy. I'm going back into the databases here. I'm looking at this article, Children's Perspectives on Happiness and Subjective Well-Being in Preschool. So I click on citation, and then I see MLA 7th edition, MLA 8th edition. We're going to choose MLA 8th edition. So make sure that you don't choose the older version, choose the newer version of MLA. I can copy the citation to the clipboard. I'm going to go back over here to a new document and paste that in. There's my MLA citation. Then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to choose APA 6th edition. We're using the library database. They don't have an APA 7th edition yet in the library. I'm not very concerned with that because there haven't been very many changes to the actual citation style in the new APA. So APA 6th is going to work just fine for now. So copy that out, paste that in here. There's my APA style. All right, so here's a nice little trick to learn about. You've got two different font styles here. The correct font for when you're writing a research paper is the first one. So it's this MLA is written in Times New Roman font. I can see that up here. So MLA is, and APA as well, is always going to be asking you for Times New Roman font. And Times New Roman is what's called a serif font. It has those little decorations on the ends of the letters, and you always want to have that font. It's fine if you wanted to pick a slightly different font, like one of the more modern ones would be, I don't know, whatever that is, Constantia. That would work fine too. It's not really going to be very noticeable that that's a different font, but it's got a little bit of extra curly cues. Always best to just go with Times New Roman, good old Times New Roman. All right, so now that we've got the right font, we're going to check and see what are some of the errors that we have. The first error is this citation is not in the right format in terms of the paragraphing. It needs to be changed. So I'm going to go up into Format, Paragraph, Indentation. I need to have a special hanging indentation of 1/2 inch. I click OK. And what happens is the first line in the paragraph, it's the opposite of paragraphing. Usually in a paragraph, the first line is indented and all the other lines are over to the left. In this case, it's called a hanging indent. And what that does, it makes the last name of the author, Coach, stand out because it's sticking out there on the left. So that's what you always need to have for your citations. So to keep that, I'm going to go back up here to the toolbar and click this copy format. It's a little paintbrush. If I go and click here, I will have copied, so I don't have to go through the steps, a lot more clicks to be able to get the paragraph formatting set up. All right, so that's step number 1. Simple formatting stuff, Times New Roman and hanging indent. Now, let's review what the differences are between MLA and APA. I'm going to highlight here, start out with the author. In MLA, the author's first name is written out completely. So Annette Boy, her middle name too. And APA, it's just the first initial. So that's one of the biggest differences between the two. And here's another difference. APA is always going to have the date is going to be the next thing. The year that the article was published will be the next thing. That is an element that also exists in MLA. It's just that the year is put at the end. So what you're going to see is every citation style, whether it's MLA, APA, Chicago, American Medical Association, there are a lot of different styles. The most common ones you deal with in college are MLA and APA, but they're the same elements, they're just in different order. So you've got your author and your year, then you've got the title of the article. So I'll use another color, I use blue for that, and also here the title of the article. All right, so you're going to find mistakes when you use a citation generator. So here, MLA, that is correct. So you do want to have quotation marks around the title, and you do want to have title case is one way to put it. So capital C, capital P, capital H. Coming back down here to APA, this is actually incorrect. APA does not use capital letters for all of the words in the title. It only uses a capital letter at the very beginning. So that is what it should look like. You need to take out, keep the C capitalized, but the rest of the words are not. And now Children and Society is italicized here. That's correct. In MLA as well, it should also be italicized. So this is a different element. The light blue is, let's find another. The light blue color is the title of the article, and the gray, what I'm putting in gray here, is the title of the journal that contains the article. So you can see it's very similar, just a couple differences, but the same elements, different order, slightly different details, but the elements are the same. All right, now here's another element. In MLA, volume 32, we're going to run out of colors soon. Pink, I guess. All right, so the volume number is written like this, VOL for volume, and then 32, and then a comma after that. In APA style, there's no volume. But it is the volume number, but it's just written 32 and it's italicized, the same as how Children and Society is italicized. The volume number is there and it's italicized. So what is a volume? A volume is the whole year that Children in Society was published, every issue that came out, like a magazine has different issues, so do journals. So every issue in that year is part of this volume. And then the number is like, you could think of it as an individual magazine or newspaper. You know, it's the item within that whole collection, that whole year. Again, I don't know, try red. Okay. Here, number 1, that's MLA. In APA, the number is also there, but it's put in italics. I'm sorry, misspoke, parentheses, and a comma after it. I'm gonna have to use a different color because that's too dark. I guess I'll reuse yellow again. All right, and then the page numbers. In MLA, it's PP and then 73 to 83, and that's what that looks like. And then in APA, there's no pages. Okay, all right. So that's the pattern that you want to follow. I'm going to just quickly put together a couple more. I won't go through it step by step like this, but I will put them together and put them in a document and put them up with the rest of these videos so that you can see, because there are differences when there are multiple authors and so forth and so on. But these are the basics for an MLA versus APA article from a research journal, and that's mostly what you're working with. All right, so we got to the end of that. That describes how to do the annotated bibliography and how to do the references, the whole 9 yards. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I'm kind of learning my way here, trying to do things online, and I know all of you are too. So please feel free to get in touch with me. Feel free to stop into my virtual office hours. I'll put the office hours over my head so you'll see they are the same times that they were before we had this break, and now they're just on Zoom, so you can visit my Zoom number. It's right there. Okay.